Hi, I'm here interviewing Ellen Marshall, coordinator of the Linda Young Ovarian Cancer Support Program of Benedictine Hospital, member of the Health Alliance of the Hudson Valley, and director of the Oncology Support Program. Rebecca Young, member of the advisory committee of the Linda Young Program and daughter of Linda Young, and Gwen Harding-Peets, also a member of the Linda Young Advisory Committee and an ovarian cancer survivor. They're here today to talk about ovarian cancer, the importance of ovarian cancer awareness, and they will also tell you a little bit about Linda Young Ovarian Cancer Support Program. September is Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month. Can you tell me a bit about ovarian cancer and the importance of ovarian cancer awareness?
Sure. Ovarian cancer is actually the second most common cancer among women and actually the deadliest of gynecologic cancers. It's found in at least 1 out of 72 women in the U.S., and every year more than 20,000 women are diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and unfortunately as many as 15,000 women die of the disease. So the thing about ovarian cancer is that it's a disease that's very difficult to detect because unlike other gynecologic cancers like cervical cancer and unlike breast cancer, there is no detection test for ovarian cancer at this point in time. So it's a disease that is very difficult to diagnose. It's important to know that a pap smear is not a test for ovarian cancer. It's actually a test for cervical cancer. We used to think that ovarian cancer was a silent killer, that there were no symptoms until the disease struck, but we've actually learned that as many as 89% of women actually experience symptoms of ovarian cancer early on during the course of their disease. Cancer in general is divided up into stages, and what you want to do with cancer is make sure that it is caught at an early stage. And as many as 70 to 80% of women diagnose ovarian cancer at the latter stages of the disease. So we're very, very committed to ensuring that women identify the symptoms of ovarian cancer, consult with their physicians and healthcare professionals, and that healthcare professionals also recognize the symptoms of ovarian cancer.
What are the symptoms of ovarian cancer?
Well, the symptoms of ovarian cancer are rather tricky because they tend to mimic other disorders, which is why it's really important for women and healthcare professionals to be aware of what the symptoms can be. One of the symptoms is bloating, the other is pelvic or abdominal pain, difficulty eating or feeling full quickly, urinary symptoms, urgency or frequency, and then there are other symptoms that are very general: fatigue, indigestion, back pain, constipation, pain with intercourse, menstrual irregularities. But the important thing is that if something is different for your body and if the symptoms that are unique for your body and are different than normal persist for more than 2 weeks, it is very important at that point that you consult a gynecologist or your healthcare professionals. And experts recommend at that point, if there is a suspicion of ovarian cancer, that a pelvic or rectal examination be done, that a CA-125 blood test be drawn, and that there be a transvaginal ultrasound. And if ovarian cancer is suspected, it is definitely important to seek out a gynecologic oncologist. It's been found that long-term survival is definitely improved when a gynecologic oncologist gets involved in the treatment of a woman.
Sure. In my mother's case, her normal body symptoms were consistent with these symptoms. So for her, that was one of the reasons why she caught it in such a late stage. And the only thing that she was having was spotting after she had already gone through menopause, thank you. And that was really her only main symptom. And it's okay to be a little bit of a hypochondriac in that situation. Because if she was, then maybe she would have caught it earlier on. But she didn't want to bother anyone. She didn't want to go to the doctor. It's nothing, because normally she was bloated and normally she did have stomach aches and she had problems with constipation and other things like that. Yeah. And so, like you said, you must know your body. That's
if you have these symptoms and they're not normal for you and they persist for more than 2 weeks, you need to go to your doctor and say, hey, I understand that it's unlikely that it's going to be ovarian cancer, but please prove to me it's not. Most of us are women who take care of everybody else. But what I try and tell women when I'm speaking with them is, if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be around to take care of all those other women.
So it's really important from the personal experience of your mom and your personal experience that we bring that experience to the community.
Rebecca, can you tell me a little bit about the Linda Young Ovarian Cancer Support Program?
Sure. About 11 years ago, my mother died of ovarian cancer. And towards the end of her life, she really was vocal with her friends and family about getting some sort of a support group together. Because at the time, nothing existed in and around Kingston and the Hudson Valley, which is where she was getting her medical attention out of. And towards the end of her life, with the support of her, you know, she was in a lot of pain, so she didn't get to do too much, but mainly her friends and her family and her coworkers and colleagues all got together and put this support group together for her.
Thank you. Gwen, can you tell me how the support program has benefited you as an ovarian cancer survivor?
Certainly. When a woman is diagnosed with ovarian cancer, typically we end up feeling very, very alone. Most of us at the time of our diagnosis have only heard of Gilda Radner as somebody who was diagnosed, and of course she died. And so one of the most important things for that woman is to be able to connect with other women that have had that same diagnosis. And we're very, very fortunate here in the Hudson Valley to have the Linda Young Ovarian Cancer Support Program. It allows for us to meet, get together, and share our experiences and our tricks of the trade, so to speak, for dealing with some of the unique things that are associated with this disease. You form really fast bonds. It's a really tough organization to be a member of. It's one of those sororities that you're glad it's there for support, but you're also sad that there's a need for something like that. You end up saying a lot of goodbyes.